This video contains flashing lights, unsettling content, violent content, jump scares and sudden loud noises. It is also not suitable for viewers who suffer from motion sickness. Viewer discretion advised.
The Backrooms has become an incredible horror story concept that has inspired a multitude of creative liminal spaces to be lost in.
This has led intrepid developers to weave a gaming experience from this concept to draw players in, to experience this firsthand.
A seemingly infinite liminal space for hapless explorers to lose themselves, trying to figure a way out with their sanity intact.
So suit up and stock some almond water as we explore the top 10 best Backrooms games. The Backrooms Gameboy Edition. The Backrooms Gameboy Edition merges the simple and nostalgic aesthetic of early handheld video games with the nightmarish horror and existential dread of the Backrooms. Created by Permafried Games, the player is tasked with finding and retrieving 3 missing members of a research team that have gotten lost within an otherworldly maze of carpeted corridors. As players wander through the identical halls, they'll hear the crunchy, muffled sounds of footsteps on carpet and the incessant buzzing of fluorescent lights. The longer the harsh sounds buzz in your ears and jagged images move across your screen, the deeper you retreat into your own mind until insanity begins to well inside you. The game features certain areas such as the labyrinth of level 0, the complex of level 2, the terrifying party rooms of level Fun, the pool rooms of level 37, and the sequence chase of level Run. The only things that can bring you out of this haze are the entities that wander this wallpaper-covered hellscape. Should any of them find you, your only option is to run and hide, or hope to fall further into the labyrinth. If you cling too closely to the decorated walls of this prison, you can slip through them and through reality itself into the deeper floors of the Backrooms. There you can find the hidden levels mentioned earlier. While the visual representation of the Backrooms is created masterfully for the Game Boy, the negatives unfortunately are a little prominent. The entities that the player encounters can never be outrun and will eventually catch up to the player. Also, players are sometimes teleported to somewhere else in the level or into danger. This issue can sometimes soft lock, where the player cannot escape. Nevertheless, the Backrooms Game Boy Edition is free to try out on itch.io and should at least be played if you're interested in a unique Backrooms game.
Backrooms Escape Together. Backrooms Escape Together, developed by Triadide Studios, is an engaging 6-player cooperative game that plunges players into the eerie and surreal world of the Backrooms. The game offers a range of meticulously designed locations, each with its own unique atmosphere and challenges. Starting with level 0, the tutorial, players are introduced to the basics before venturing into more complex and unsettling areas, like level 1, Habitable Zone, Level 2, Abandoned Utility Halls, Level 4, Abandoned Office, Level 6, Lights Out, Level 37, Pool Rooms, and the highly intense level exclamation point, Run. In Backrooms Escape Together, players must collaborate to complete various objectives in order to progress through the levels. These objectives range from filming entities and collecting crucial items to powering on generators, adding layers of strategy and teamwork to the gameplay. The game's environments are often inhabited by menacing entities such as the bacteria and skin stealers, heightening the sense of danger and urgency. One of the standout features is the use of a camera, which serves dual purposes, fulfilling certain objectives and enhancing the immersive experience with high-resolution graphics. This tool helps to bring the unsettling realism of the Backrooms to life, making players feel as though they're truly trapped in this labyrinthian nightmare. Despite its strengths, Backrooms Escape Together is not without its flaws. The game currently suffers from random number generation, RNG, elements, and complicated objectives that can sometimes frustrate players. Additionally, bugs and instances of unfair entity AI behavior detract from the overall experience. Couple this with extremely long delays, updates, and not too much content available, many players are eagerly awaiting for patches and more gameplay variety. Overall, Backrooms Escape Together succeeds in capturing the essence of the Backrooms mythos with its atmospheric settings, cooperative gameplay, and immersive graphics. While it has some rough edges, its potential to become a standout title in the Backrooms series is undeniable. With continued development and community feedback, it promises to offer an even more thrilling and polished experience in the future.
NOCLIP. NOCLIP, created by Delirium Labs, is an early access game where you take on the role of Dr. Oscar Anderson, a scientist working for the state-funded Icarus Research Organization. They're sent on a rescue mission to find 4 missing scientists who have become lost in the twisting halls of the Backrooms. The identical rooms and halls are seen through the lens of an old camcorder given to you for documentation purposes. There's even a tiny flashlight fitted to it. Though the buzzing fluorescent lights filling the empty corridors with their harsh brilliance make the tiny attachment seem infantile. The buzzing of bulbs and muffled footsteps are the only sounds you'll hear as players wander through the area. Amidst the silence, you can't help but feel that something is watching you, aware of your every movement. Monolithic pillars stand amidst empty rooms, confusing and drawing your wandering eyes away from other paths that lead further into the labyrinth. As you venture on, rooms will become wider, halls will become longer, and lights will become dimmer. Large chambers that were once bathed in nauseous blinding light are now swathed in dark, hiding their horrors and secrets. When players find all the dead scientists, they realize that there's no longer any communication from the intel group that's guiding them. It's here players realize they must relocate themselves back to the start. NOCLIP is a decent game, but it still has some negatives to it. Firstly, there's no save system, so every time the game loads up, players need to start the adventure again from the beginning. Secondly, there's no menu system at all, not even to pause the game. Thirdly, the game gives no indication of where the scientists are in level 0, or the switches of level 37.1 dark pool rooms. This leaves players aimlessly wandering the huge maze of corridors for several lengthy minutes. If this Icarus Research Organization had gadgets, why didn't any of the members have GPS trackers enabled? The last problem is the audio. Ambience is incredibly quiet, whereas the voices are ear-piercingly loud.
Well, try to find the 2 others. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's just find him and just get out, okay?
While still in early access, Delirium Labs has the potential here to create something unique. If they can address the issues raised and fix a few glaring problems, NOCLIP could be a fan favorite.
Within the Backrooms. Within the Backrooms, created by Andrew Brenes, is an adventure puzzle game that offers a unique and immersive experience loosely based on the popular Backrooms lore. The game's standout features are its distinctive art style and atmospheric sound design, which together create a surreal and engaging environment. While it includes a few familiar locations from the Backrooms mythos, such as Level 0, a small section of Level 2, a recreation of part of the playrooms from Level Fun, Level The End, and the pool rooms, it also introduces a variety of original locations that add depth and intrigue to the game. These unique areas include a mall, a room filled with vibrant textures, a church, a concrete world, a skybox room reminiscent of the Truman Show, a park in the sky, a sky train, and a creepy corridor. The central objective of Within the Backrooms is for players to locate 11 floppy disks scattered throughout these diverse environments and bring them to a computer monitor at level N to initiate different game endings. This quest requires players to utilize various items they find along the way, such as a keycard for elevator access, a crowbar to break through hidden walls, a 25-cent coin to operate gumball machines, a key for door shutters, and a doorknob to open mysterious doors. Adding to the game's depth are several NPCs that players can interact with. These include Mel, an anime-inspired character searching for a tower, Gary, a strange being who craves chips, and Percy, a floating hen's head that desires pellets and rewards the player upon finding 3 of them in a level. This blend of characters and quests adds layers of engagement and mystery, making each encounter unique and memorable. A game like this is not without its flaws though. For many first-time players, navigating Level 0 can be tedious. The constant walls may be visible on one side but invisible to the other, and with some pathways effectively teleporting the player somewhere else in the maze, it can prove annoying. There's also no helpful messages on screen to tell the player exactly what they need to do or where to go. Also, when important items are obtained, like the floppy disk, keycard, and crowbar, the player is able to pick them up again. This happens if they've revisited the area a second time, since all items respawn and don't disappear. It adds confusion to players who are hunting down all the floppy disks in the game. The final issue is that, despite the game wanting the player to collect all 11 floppy disks, each having a different ending, Within the Backrooms only allows one ending to be played before the game effectively deletes the save and they're forced to play the entire game again, unless you close the game when on the title screen. In conclusion, Within the Backrooms is reminiscent of the cult classic LSD Dream Emulator, where players navigate through an array of bizarre and unpredictable levels. This similarity lies in the game's ability to constantly surprise and challenge players, keeping them on their toes with each new environment and puzzle. The combination of familiar Backrooms elements with innovative new locations and gameplay mechanics makes Within the Backrooms a compelling and enjoyable game, capturing the essence of the Backrooms series while expanding its universe in creative and unexpected ways.
Escape the Backrooms. Escape the Backrooms is a 4-player co-op game created by Fancy Games. This survival horror game has players working together, solving puzzles and escaping from dangerous entities. The players start from level 0 and work their way up through iconic levels, such as the abandoned utility halls, electrical station, abandoned office, terror hotel, lights out, and thalassophobia. This game features quite possibly the most varied locations seen in a Backrooms game, such as cave system, corridor of windows, school hallways, dark suburbs, wheat fields, and castle in the sky. The game also has players relying on their sanity, which degrades over time. In-game, you can find rare bottles of almond water, energy bars, energy drinks, and moth jelly to help replenish stamina and sanity. Some other items will be available later into the game, such as crowbar, chainsaw. However, they cannot be used against any entities. If a player does get killed, they spectate another player. If the entire team dies, they'll have to either do the whole level again or a one-off checkpoint. This is indeed a fun game to play, but it has minor flaws. The animation of the entities and the player models need a lot of rework. The trial and error and unfair AI system can become tedious and annoying the longer you play. The AI of the Scratcher at the end, the partygoers of Level Fun, the insane speed of the clumps of Hotel Run, and the wretches of the dark suburbs both seem to have unpredictable behavior towards the players and their environment. Fancy has created some deeply atmospheric levels with dark and unsettling ambiances to match. But it's the objectives and the AI that can ruin the experience the longer you play. The first few levels of the game are fun and immersive, but the later levels really rely on trial and error. When with no on-screen HUD, it can be difficult to understand where the player needs to go. One example is finding a key in a balloon of Level Fun Plus. If players hammered the use button on the balloons, they may have accidentally picked up the key without noticing. Other than a faint sound effect of being picked up, there's no HUD on screen showing that you found it. The only way to know is leaving the room and activating the machine in the lobby at the start of the level. Couple this with some glaring game-breaking bugs, unable to mute music or rebind keys, we had to respectively drop its rank down a bit on our list. Nevertheless, we hope Fancy can work on these issues, because there's some huge potential here.
The Complex, found footage. The Complex found footage is a Backrooms horror walking simulator created and developed by Israel and PG Wave and is free to play on Steam. In the game, you assume the role of an unidentifiable person entering level 0 alone. While traversing this level, the silence itself will give you a sense of anxiety and isolation. Throughout the levels, you'll start having the feeling that you're not alone, as you start to see shadowy figures in your peripheral peer around corners or behind walls, and you are unable to determine who or what they are. Or perhaps it's for the best that you don't. During the game's infancy, you were able to carry and use a flashlight, but the creators removed that feature later down the line for unknown reasons. The sound design in this game hits your ears pretty well, as you hear your players walk sounding like real footsteps. When your player sprints, you can hear the steps and the rushing sound of wind picking up on your camera's microphone. In other environments of the game, they will give you a sense of deja vu, as if you have been there before. Objects such as furniture and vehicles you see will seem very out of place or in an unexplainable size, such as giant lamps or chairs, pole railings in very small areas. a ceiling with a visible hallway, and an upside-down police car inside a small room. The few unique levels in this game are a recreation of the pool rooms, a small view of level 188, an art museum, a recreation of level 9, and other levels made in reference from a video created by Kane Pixels. Since there are no monsters that will chase you, you can breathe a sigh of relief and roam as much as you like. This game is high in memory usage and could lead to performance issues in older computers. Also, the sound in the game may become very loud, especially near the end of the game, so be careful.
The Backrooms Lost Tape. The Backrooms Lost Tape is an adventure horror game created by Vinny Cortez. The player selects a VHS tape of a victim, Josh, who was a cinema usher that fell in the backrooms and is the only tape available at this point. It starts off in level 0, and it's from this point on that the player must traverse to unravel the mysteries of the backrooms.
Hey! Is anyone here? Can someone hear me?
The game features a few levels from the backrooms, each with their own theme. Level 0 serves as the tutorial, which features a much wider, bigger complex of halls and corridors. There's also multitudes of chairs strewn about. Mannequins. And industrial shelves. Level 2, the abandoned utility halls, is a longer, gloomy corridor that seemingly never ends, and it's here that players feel like they are being followed. Level 37, known as Subliminity, is a dreamlike pool area set in the clouds. Josh even questions if the location is actually real or a dream. The water effects here are fantastic, and it's one of the moments where a player could just stop and immerse themselves in the environment for a few minutes. Level 94 is Motion, a landscape filled with gnomes and handcrafted sets. While the music can be cheerful, it's the complete opposite when it's dark. There's even a recreation of liminal playrooms of level Fun, but its design is vastly different to the styles we've seen in other Backrooms games. This version features gloomily lit corridors, with children's playpens, slides, and other equipment. The whole location is just eerily quiet, and it's the most unsettling level of the game. There are times when the character voices out about their situation, but it feels unwarranted when the game seems to be a mix of the SCP universe, the Mandela catalogue, and creepypastas together. Currently, there's only one puzzle on level 0, where getting the password correct will not spawn an entity to chase the player, and the room's lights will turn blue. However, getting the password wrong turns the lights red, and the entity will relentlessly chase them down. It's an intense experience, and unfortunately after this encounter, the rest of the game can become a stale walking sim. The game does have a high price range, and the overall experience is short. However, Vinny recently announced as of June 2024 that a new tape is in the works. It will be called The Tape of Nicholas, and features some breathtaking environments, such as an outdoor sea complex, indoor pools, a forest hedge maze, a school, and a department store. With the graphics being updated to Unreal Engine 5, let's hope the gameplay also holds up as well.
Lost Hope, Backrooms. Lost Hope Backrooms, created by MDVD, is a psychological horror adventure game which tasks the player to find VHS tapes and cassettes of the phenomena of the backrooms. The interesting take on this game is that not all the levels will feature entities, as some of the levels require a simple puzzle or objective to complete. The game also has a no entity mode for players who want a more liminal experience without the need of having a monster chasing them all the time. Lost Hope Backrooms features some interesting high-resolution graphics and clever sound design, making it sound like things are moving around behind the player when they explore the environment. While the game includes the standard Level 0, Level 2, and a fantastic-looking Level Fun, there are some new locations not seen before, and here's a few examples. Level 974, Kitty's House, is a mass of hallways and corridors decorated in pink with soothing music in the background. An entity, known as Kitty, wants the player to find a toy, as this is the only way to leave. Level 19, The Dark Hotel, is a gloomy lit complex filled with claustrophobic corridors and, disturbingly, a skin stealer. Players will need to find emblems hidden in chests and quickly escape. Level 40, Roller Rockin' Pizza, is a retro-styled arcade plaza. It's visually the most impressive and immersive location in the game. Players are required to find and play a certain arcade machine, locating tickets to bypass the barrier. Level 43, Waterworld, has the player in a futuristic underwater building which appears abandoned. The tight corridors hide a hidden entity that will make escaping the area very troublesome and unsettling. Level 98, the Downtown Diner, starts out as a quiet, empty area until the player ventures further in. Areas get flooded, dark, dreary, and more dilapidated. This entire level makes the player feel like there's something sinister lurking just out of reach, but feel its influence creeping in. The game also has an early beta build for co-op, with some new levels not seen in the single-player game. In terms of the entire game itself, the audio used for the entities that talk with the player are subpar text-to-speech software. This can take away from the immersion and dampen the overall experience.
Play with me, and I will show you the way to the gates.
There's also no option to disable the HUD or adjust music levels. However, as this game is still in early access, it's possible these issues can be fixed in future updates.
Transliminal. Transliminal, created by Spatial Quotient, is a horror roguelike adventure game, giving players the opportunity to explore wildly different environments that don't always follow the rules of physics. Players take the role of Victor, who unfortunately enters the backrooms after a skydiving incident where the two emergency cords refuse to pull open.
Oh, I must have blacked out. All right, joke's over. It was really funny. You can come out now.
It's here you'll stumble across items such as cassette tapes to calm or aggro the sanity, almond water to restore health, batteries for the flashlight, and coins for vending machines. All items and collectibles are hidden either in drawers, filing cabinets, lockers, closets, or fridges. The levels themselves are randomly procedurally curated while playing, while stamina and health can be upgraded over the course of the game. Players will traverse many strange structures and vistas over the course of their adventure. What's not immediately apparent is that the levels will react and change depending on Victor's condition. With low sanity, the areas will shift, and large potholes will emerge in some rooms, bugs will crawl up the walls, and even doors themselves will shift away from the player. Since the game cannot be paused, it's not safe to even remain idle. Lights will also flicker off, and shuffling can be heard from the roof above.
What is it?
While exploring the levels, players will soon find that the environment around them is non-linear and seems to shift its form around them. When tracing back to where they came from, they'll find that paths they've travelled are no longer as they first appeared. The low resolution and video tracking effects help to increase immersion and provide a thematic experience, though they can be completely disabled if they are not to your liking. The same can be said about the entities. If you're someone that just wants to explore the locations without the hassle of entities chasing you, you're free to disable them entirely from the game. Speaking of entities, there's only one that can insta-kill, and that's the Smilers. The other ones, such as ghost mists, death moths, spores and dolls, damage the player from contact. Whereas dollars appear behind the player and attempt to steal an item and escape. If at any point the player is killed,
No!
they will reawaken back in level 0, and Victor will question whether what he witnessed was real or a nightmare.
I must be losing it.
The player will still retain all items, collectibles, tapes and progress of the game, so there's a deeper sense of exploration and new tactics. If the player falls off one of the levels, they'll crash back into level 0 or another random level. Transliminal is definitely a fun game, but its frame rate is inconsistent with certain areas. Even on a powerhouse of a computer, there's still low frame rate drops and chugging while playing. This is especially common during the cogwheel matrix, where jumping and navigating the catwalks requires precise, careful movement. This can make it incredibly jarring and immersion breaking. The only downside of the randomly generated environments is that players can sometimes be stuck in a level they really wish to leave, thus losing its grip on the player's interest. For example, pools, electrics and hotel can take a really long time for a randomly generated exit door to appear. This, coupled with the fact that no entities appear in these sections, and the environment itself isn't too interesting to look at, makes these parts feel like a slog to get through. On rare occasions, the players might get stuck in a dead end because of the randomly procedurally curated environment. If this happens, it's best to quit to the main menu, and hope the issue fixes itself when they reload back in. There's also an issue with the player's height. It feels like the environment and props around them are larger than intended. We're not sure if this is a design issue or the fact the Backrooms itself is unsettling and confusing in nature, but nevertheless, Transliminal features a shifting, reactive level design.
No, this can't be real.
With engaging narrative.
Hello? Is anyone there? Was that a recording or a person?
Scares and tension. There are many unique experiences to be had every time you play, and with the developer constantly eager for feedback, Transliminal is a must for any Backrooms player.
What the hell?
The Complex Expedition. The Complex Expedition is a sequel to the Complex Found Footage, following the same formula as its predecessor, and is created and developed by PG Wave. In this game, you take the role of a magwave researcher who is sent to investigate and explore an area not previously navigated. Not long after, something goes wrong, and the player falls through the floor into an empty room. They'll now need to try and regroup with their team and explore the area before them. From the start, the game's visuals are pleasing to the eyes and ears. From the camera movement to the voice acting and the lighting makes the game seem real and feel lifelike.
You'll have to wait for further instructions to move, so just describe your surroundings whenever you see something new or different.
Yeah, I know.
Paranoia and isolation will come back to you as you venture through the corridors and other rooms. The eerie silence and occasional sound can cause unwanted tension. Speaking of sound, everything is incredibly well made. Movement with the camera, footsteps, the player character breathing, wading through the water, each one of these all combines together to create an extremely immersive game. The geometry of the structures and architecture are constructed in ways that will give you a funhouse mirror effect, just like in the last game. Doors that can be interacted with will make a small scene play, which will cause the immersion and fear factor to crank up higher. The lighting in this game is equally amazing, as you see the light shine through the camera lens. Dirt and smudges can be seen as well, and even seeing your character's shadow moving in real time when you pass by certain walls. The game also features a variety of levels that are woven together and feel connected, and not out of place from the standard corridors. Office complexes, an abandoned mall, a hotel, a church's sanctuary, an underground subway, and even an abandoned pool rooms. Signs found throughout the levels make no sense and create a surreal, unsettling feeling to the game. At one point, the player can enter a subway train and witness a merry-go-round. These set pieces are extremely realistic and may even bring a wave of nostalgia and memories. Even though the game is still in development, it is said that there will be a co-op feature later down the line, where you and a friend could navigate the game together. PG Wave also noted that sometime this year, a full release will be made, and it will improve and add a few more features to the game.
Thank you for watching. And on this page, thanks to our members. If you are interested in supporting us, we have 3 tiers: bronze, silver, and gold. Each one comes with perks. We'll do our best to keep you up to date on what's going on. And special thanks to our patrons. Again, if you are interested in supporting us, the link to our Patreon is in the bottom left-hand corner, down here. We also have a Discord link here, and a Ko-fi page. But that's enough from me. Let's see the creators of the video. Visit their social media links, if they provided you some entertainment. I'm XJ. Until next time.